It's Thursday, so you know what that means. Biz Besties.
We're your hosts. I'm Kayla,
And I'm Nicole.
and we're two ambitious entrepreneurs, coaches, and mentors for women who want to operate their business like it's a business. We're always going to tell you how it really is and deliver you mind-blowing conversations about mindset, manifestation, growing a seven-figure company, and how to live a really big life.
We're lovers of personal development, human design, reading, traveling, and women making money. So turn up the volume, pour your coffee, and let's imagine we're all together sitting around, uplifting one another through powerful conversations.
Be sure to subscribe and tune in every Thursday.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our first episode of 2025 here on our Biz Besties segment. Kayla and I took a well-deserved break from Biz Besties over the holidays, and we are more than excited to be back. 2025 is already shaping up to be a huge year. We were chatting about our numerology the other day, our personal numerology. It's a 1 year for me, which is really exciting. It's a 5 year for Kayla, and which means that our first year in business was a 1 year for Kayla. So I'm experiencing maybe the energy that you felt in the first year of creating My Line Purpose, which is so cool. Anyways, let's get into it. Kayla, what are you grateful for today?
To go with our theme of align your time, which is what we're going to talk about throughout this episode, I am grateful that we set up our calendars for 2025 so we don't start external calls or talk to anyone except for each other until 11 a.m. for the whole year. So that means that we can prioritize sleeping, working out, eating, and still working. Can you imagine? Anyway, I went to the gym this morning, did a leg day, feeling excellent. Then I went for a little walk with Scott and Bowmore after, my husband and my dog. And kids are at daycare, and now we're doing Biz Besties. And this is literally exactly how I want my life to be, and it's happening. So grateful.
It
What about you?
was the most genius thing that we could have done.
I know, I was so resistant to it too because and we're gonna get into this in the episode, but the employee in me wants to start at 9. If I don't start at 9, then what? How much time am I wasting in the morning? I won't be able to get everything done. All the fear stories come up, and they're just not true.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Okay, what about you? What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for the practice of meditation.
Mhm.
I am doing a 365-day meditation challenge with myself. We're only on day 8, but I'm 8 for 8. And and alongside with that, it's been really having an open growth mindset because in the past, if I didn't meditate first thing in the morning, wrote it off as it won't be as valuable. And in fact, there hasn't been a day yet where my meditation has been the first thing in the morning. It's been happening around 5 or 6, like before I have dinner or before I go to bed, setting that 20-minute timer. And I just cannot believe the insights, the ahas, the clarity that have come through for me so far in every single session. So I'm so grateful to remember that this is something that is really important to me. And again, you and I are all about mastering and prioritizing our time in 2025. And it's a non negotiable. Meditating 20 minutes, some people would say, I don't have time for that. I'm making it a non negotiable in my life this year.
I want to acknowledge you that I noticed that you were doing it in the evening and you were totally calm, cool, and collected about it. I noticed
Mm,
that yesterday. So good job.
yeah.
And yeah, it's so cool when you take the time to meditate to notice how many thoughts happen in a minute, even. Isn't it crazy at the beginning?
It's wild.
It's wild. I like to meditate by writing to calm my mind. And I write usually if I'm meditating consistently, it's the 40-day abundance formula. And I can be writing the words, copying the words from one page to the next, writing. And my mind has 1,000 thoughts a minute simultaneously while writing things out. And that's what's happening all the time if we're not paying attention.
Oh, yeah. And what's really cool about Insight Timer, I was telling you this, Kayla, but I'll share with everyone else. I started using Insight Timer, I don't know, maybe in 2020, if maybe 2019, 2020. And back then, I was really into just setting the timer and I would meditate, and I haven't picked up Insight Timer for quite some time. But I wanted to use it in this 365 experience because it tracks and I want to see my minutes go up. I'm at like almost 7,000 minutes of meditating or something. And now the feature is soon as you are complete a meditation, it prompts you with a digital journal. So it'll say,
Mm,
"What notes do you wanna remember about this?" And it's almost like if you when you first wake up out of a dream, if you don't document, write down, or talk about what you dreamt about, it leaves you so fast. That's my experience anyway. And the same happens in meditation where, like, so much is going on in that 20 minutes that this little prompt afterwards is so great. So I just, like, bullet point get out every little thing that I thought about, and then I'm turning immediately to my physical journal and then writing out just a one-page entry. That's another thing too. I was doing the artist way from mid-September to mid-December, and I was starting to resent the process of, I don't want to write 3 pages. I like writing. Why is this feeling like I don't wanna do this? I
mm,
got a new journal for January 1st. I've written a page every single day, and I'm not having any strict rules of has to be 3 pages or a page or finish the
mm.
page. It's just write what's there and get it
Yeah.
out, and that feels so freeing.
Yeah, and then be complete.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And 3 pages a day, it's interesting. If your journal is this big, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see how big this notebook is. That's a lot of writing versus if your journal is maybe just a little one, then it wouldn't be as much writing. But the rule of Artist Way is 3 pages. So if your page is a teeny tiny page, then it's a teeny tiny amount of writing. So you get to decide.
Yeah, and I like a big notebook.
Yeah, so do I. A lay flat, big notebook.
Yes, look, this is my journal.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. I got
Mhm.
it at Indigo. It lays flat. It's lined. It's beautiful. It says lined pages. Notes, lined pages. Wow. Yeah, anyways, it's by Fringe Times Noda, if anybody wants to go check it out at Indigo.
There you go.
Okay, we're getting into it. We're talking all about time, freedom, living a life where you get to control your time, is arguably the best experience. It's the best way to live. Lots of people think that more money would create happiness for them. We are here to tell you that more time will, and you can buy your time. You can use money to live your life the way you want. Absolutely. But you can have all the money in the world and be slogging away in the office or putting in 80 plus hours in your own business and then not even getting to experience and enjoy your life. So, we are here to talk about how we were once living that way and now how we've been able to get to this place and what you can do too.
Mhm. Yeah, money is an external factor, so you can't always control that. And time is your internal factor. It's the thing that you get to decide how you spend it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing we want to say is on February 3rd, we're hosting, starting February 3rd, a 5-day event called Time. No, starting February 3rd, get out your calendar, write this down now, and you can go to our website and sign up. We're hosting a free 5-day event called Freedom Week. The emoji for Freedom Week is palm tree. We're going to have so much fun in Freedom Week together. Going to be 5 days of figuring out how you can control your time. And as an extra special bonus to make life fun, because what is the point if it's not fun?
Mhm.
We are going to set aside time together to plan your next vacation.
That's my favorite part of the whole Freedom Week.
I know you love it. You love it.
I love planning out a vacation, and if you're thinking like, "I don't have the time or money or resources or whatever available to me to plan a vacation," no, if your vision is the 4 seasons in Bora Bora, you don't know how you would ever make that happen, we are getting into the energy of that. You are going to check in. You're going to see what's the flight path? When are you available to go? What do those rooms look like? Who's going on vacation with you? We are going to some really fun, magical places together, and I cannot wait, clearly.
Clearly. Okay. We decided this free week, these 5 days together where everyone is welcome and invited, are going to be the best 5 days of 2025 so far Freedom Week, let's go. So, day one, align your time, make more money like the CEO you are. Day two, we're going to talk to you about defining your why you want more time, why you want time freedom, why you want more money, how that's going to, we're going to plan your next vacation together. That part, Nicole is just jumping up and down. Can't wait to help you with that. Day three, we're going to talk about how time is elastic and quantum leaping is available. We can slow down, we can speed up. Time is just a construct, and we are going to blow your mind on day three. Day
Mhm.
four is creating space for what matters most and deciding on what you're going to delegate.
Yeah.
And day five, infinite possibilities, hot seat coaching. We are not holding the energy of being realistic, of all of that bullshit that everybody makes up as an excuse to not live the life you want to live. This is your one shot, as far as we know. And if you are Four Seasons Bora or Wiccan and Tofino or wherever you're going next, we are manifesting it, we are making it happen. And having your own business is literally the best way, which we will talk about on this episode momentarily, to be able to control your time and the amount of money you make. So that's what we stand for. It's happening February 3rd. Go to our website, 5 days of Align Your Time, Freedom Week. So much fun.
Yeah, we'll link it right at the top of the show notes in this episode. So you'll
Yes.
see Freedom Week with the little palm tree emoji. You click that, you get signed up. Invite your friends. Let's have a really fun week together. If you're in the northern hemisphere, we're going to be like dead smack in the middle of winter. Let's get into the energy together of vacation, travel, exploration, adventure. We're making it all happen. You and I have some really fun trips coming up this
We
year
do.
to warm places. I have four trips that I know of, and 3 of them are with you to warm places.
And it's January 8th. Okay. Who knows what else could
Yeah.
happen? We're talking sunshine. Actually, in 2024, last year, I had the aha realization one day in August. Oh, I actually think I like dry heat and being in the sun.
Mm.
I had never said that out loud before. I
Yeah.
know it sounds weird if I just give no context, but I tell myself I'm a Nordic person. I like sweaters. I like the cold winter because I like a cozy fire. I like coffee. I like doing all the warm things. When it's summer and I'm walking around outside, I'm like, okay, stay calm. It's going to get cool again. Going to be okay. But then I went to Arizona and the dry heat blew my freaking mind.
Catch her with an iced coffee, folks.
That too, iced coffee is a possibility. Wow, 2025 is a big year.
It really is. More on that later.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we want to start by talking about how if you are in a position right now listening to this episode where you don't necessarily feel like you have full control of your time, maybe that's because you started your own business and you're feeling like you're wearing every hat. You are your bookkeeper, you're your social media manager, you are your content planner, you are the actual coach, the person delivering the product, the service. Like when you begin your business, yes, there are so many to dos. And all of that to doing is most likely taking up your time.
Mhm.
And then you're checking and reflecting of how much time you're actually spending in your business as a business owner. And you're like, holy shit, I either exited the corporate world or the 9 to 5 or whatever it might be, or I've always been an entrepreneur because I wanted this life where I got to work less and live more. Yet here I am in the hamster wheel working 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hour work weeks, which if you're listening to this and thinking entrepreneurs are choosing to work 80 hours a week, it's subconsciously or unconsciously, that's what ends up happening when you don't take control of your time. You reflect back and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been pulling these long days, long nights, working extra hours, weekends, doing all of the things. And then you're thinking, why did I even get into this in the first place? And so we want to talk a little bit about that because Kayla and I both came from 9 to 5 backgrounds. So we know exactly what it feels like to have somebody else controlling our time. And then we also know what it's like to have a startup business when you're really wearing all the hats. You want to kick off this conversation, Kayla?
Yeah. I just want to point out that from the beginning of going to school, we have been conditioned that we have to be somewhere from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. From elementary all the way through middle school, high school. And then university, you get a bit more time freedom, but you have to study a lot or you have to work jobs to pay for it or whatever that looks like. And then it's okay, time to get to the real world and get realistic and start spending 9 to 5 everywhere every single week and be controlled by other people. And that is the natural path of society. That is currently what we're living in. It is not what Nicole and I are living in, but
No.
what society thinks is the way to do it. So there no one is blaming you for being an entrepreneur or wanting to be an entrepreneur and still having that employee mindset of how you spend your time. This podcast, we are going to de-influence you, decondition you around how you can control your time and make more money as an entrepreneur.
Okay, let's go to you being a fundraiser.
Yeah.
How many hours a week were you working?
A lot more than 40, but most of the time. But as a fundraiser, and this is parallel to being a teacher, I would go into the office at 8 or 8:30 and do my work all day and usually either work through lunch or meet with people in the office or whatever that looked like, my work friends for lunch, and then leave around 4:30 or 5. Now, we'd always have evening events happening because that's part of fundraising, just as teachers, as part of coaching teams. And I volunteered all the time because that's also part of being in a 9 to 5. You just get swept into the whole mindset of more, do more, give more, and then you'll get promoted. So you're
Mm.
always trying to people please. So that person who holds all of the money you make in their precious little hands can promote you to the next level. So I was volunteering on the AFP board, which is Association of Fundraising Professionals, and volunteering at Toastmasters and doing a million things, bike to work week. Basically, work did not end
Mm.
when I worked for somebody else because there was always more and more to do. Sound like a great employee.
And how much vacation time did you get?
This is so funny. I can't wait to hear about your teaching vacation time too. But fundraising, I worked up to 4 weeks vacation. And that was, wow, that was the pinnacle. When I was going into a new job, I had to strong arm negotiate for 4 weeks and not take the 2 or 3 that were offered with the job offer. And I would say, okay, I want to make more money. And they would say, okay, but you're already getting 3 weeks vacation. So that's enough of a perk.
Mm, mhm.
Mhm, 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 mhm. Can anyone who's listening relate? Tell us.
Yeah, I remember when I first got into teaching, and I was ambitious, obviously, and excited about it. And I wanted to be the good teacher and I wanted to get promoted to, okay, I'm eventually going to work my way up to being vice principal and then principal. That's the route I wanted to go. And as soon as I graduated my BEd, I took a full time permanent position. So my classroom was mine, which is a really big deal when you first graduate. The sacrifice was I had to live in the middle of nowhere. And
Yeah.
so I take this role as a permanent position. And I thought, wow, I have literally struck gold here. 2 weeks vacation at Christmas, week-ish vacation at winter break, which was like around February, which bookended with a 2-day conference was mandatory. You had to go to, could not miss it. And then spring break, which happened typically around like Easter time. And then 8 weeks off in the summer. I was like, wow, this is unreal. And then became the actual teacher. And I know we've got teachers who are working with us now, and we've got teachers who listen. And for everybody who has ever thought this about a teacher, let me correct you. People think, oh my gosh, you get your whole entire summer off. You get Christmas breaks off, weekends off, March break. That is so much time. I've never met a teacher who is not thinking about slash stressing about being prepared to go back into the classroom. So you get your Christmas break off, but you're grading papers, you're getting ready for the next cohort or semester or whatever it is. You're redoing your classroom, you're answering all of the
Yeah.
emails, you're doing all of that stuff. You're working so much of your Christmas break, especially in the first 5 years of teaching. Yeah, maybe once you get into it and it gets a little bit easier or you care less, but you're spending so much of your time off actually working. And then summer holidays, same thing. I'd go into the classroom mid-August and I wouldn't be the only teacher in the school. Everybody be in there frantically being like, what am I doing for the year? And getting their classroom ready. And it was just so much stress and anxiety that I felt like I actually couldn't really enjoy my time off. That's not it. That was not the
Not to
life for me.
mention yeah, not to mention that teachers often run clubs and sports and extracurriculars
Oh,
and do
yeah.
all the things for their classroom kids. Then you get a bit older and you have your own kids, and then you're a teacher, so you can run the soccer team and all these other types of things that are just parent volunteer responsibilities. So it's layer after layer of extra on top of your all day with 25 teenagers.
Mhm.
Now, anyone who's listening who has kids is they're my kids and I spend all day with them and there's only 2 of them and this is a lot. Okay, picture curriculum delivery and getting everybody on track and all the emotions and all the ups and downs and all the friend issues and
Hormones.
all the hormones, not to mention the smells of being with teenagers all day, every day, 25 of them at once, and all their parents who have an opinion about everything. Okay, we're really painting the picture of say thank you to your teacher friend after you listen to this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Then what happened was when we started My Aligned Purpose, I carried that mentality in. Time off, I'm going to think about work. I'm going to do work. I'm going to stress about clients. I did not know how to actually take a break because I've never been trained. I've never been taught. I've never been role modeled how to actually enjoy time off. You work on your time off, you get prepared on your time off. And so, as we started My Aligned Purpose, and I know that you felt the same way, we were working weekends and doing nights and like over delivering and doing things based off of what we thought our potential clients or audience wanted, which was like evenings and weekends. That is just such a hard no for us now. And there's so many layers to this conversation that got those boundaries and aligning our time got role modeled to us through hiring a coach and her being like, I absolutely am not going to respond or do anything work related on evenings or weekends. Don't try to message me. It's not going to happen. And then we thought, we actually respect and admire her boundaries. We could be putting these into place ourselves and trusting that it's okay if we don't deliver on evenings and weekends. But at the time, I think you and I were just so wired to be like overwork, 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 employee mindset as an entrepreneur. And then this is what we see with so many people who come to work with us. They're starting their own business. And we're like, you, you're acting like an employee to yourself.
Yeah, and you don't know how to act like an entrepreneur, to how to claim time freedom and how to have boundaries until someone teaches you. This is, like I said at the beginning, not normal behavior for people currently in society. So you need to learn from other people who are going to show you how. And we're going to get into that during Freedom Week, February 3rd. Go to the website right now, myalignedpurpose.com, and go sign up because we're really going to talk about these juicy conversations. So we're just going to tell you a bit now about our journey on how we've now completely control our own time, but it took us 4 years to get there. So year 1, like Nicole said, we're in startup phase and year 2 as well. We didn't exactly know what we could offer that people would want to buy. So everything was an experiment because everything was new. So it was like manifesting money masterclass and that works. And people signed up for that. So do we do that during the day? Do we do that in the evening? Do we do that at lunchtime? And then we did another class and another course with people. And then we offered a mastermind, and that was in the evening because the people that we had been talking to had 9 to 5. So we thought, okay, we'll work all day and then we'll deliver all night. That'll be a good idea because we were catering to people who we thought we need to do this so that they pay us. In the meantime, we're training our audience to be available in the evening because that's when we want to deliver, but it's not when we wanted to deliver. So that was all very confusing. But we got that back together. And in 2021, we hired our first coach together and learned about controlling our time. And we started setting up 1 day a week, which we worked on the business, not in the business. So we blocked Mondays and come hell or high water, non negotiable. We only worked on the business. We didn't reply back to people's WhatsApp messages. We didn't coach anyone. We didn't book calls. We didn't talk to anyone except for each other, the 2 of us, about what we're doing to grow our business.
Mm.
Once we put that in place, we got the taste of time freedom and we couldn't believe how good it felt amazing to have a day to set aside to not work on everybody else's business as business coaches. That's a big part of our job and work on our own for one day.
Another thing that we did to start to free up our time, and this came from, again, experimenting and actually just putting offers out there and seeing what worked and what didn't work. And this was the best thing that could have ever happened to us in our business. And it's how we ended up coming up with the quiz is we saw that in the exchange of all of our one-to-one time, which in 2022, we were offering one-to-one calls and group calls for our aligned CEOs. At the time, it was called Platinum. And so we had 25 people in that year in 2022. And so
Mhm.
25 people would get their one-to-one call. Plus, we also were
A month.
a month. Plus, we were also hosting 2 group calls a month for them. Plus, we had one-to-one clients who weren't those clients, and then running some other things.
Yeah, plus selling more things in our business to give people a taste of what it's like to work with us so they could come into the year-long program.
So,
Mm.
the TLDR here is we were little workhorses for ourselves in 2022,
We did it to
and
ourselves.
we did it to ourselves. It was the greatest lesson because
Yes.
we'd hop on Zoom 9 to 10 and we'd coach client A and she would say, I'm really struggling with this in my business. And then 10 to 11, we'd hop on with client B and she'd say, this is where I need help in my business. And you can get the drift here. You can get what I'm saying. It would go on and on all day. And it was the same thing. Whether you're in your first year of business, your fifth, your 10th, your 20th, whether you're an online business owner or a brick and mortar business owner, and whether you sell products or services or both, the challenges are all very similar, and we were like, "We are answering the same question over and over again." What would
Mhm.
happen if we, at the end of 2022, open up our program in 2023 and say, "We're removing the one-to-one calls, and we're gonna give you more group calls." So in 2023, we said, "We're going to give you a coaching call every single week to our group, and you're going to come as a group. And so that client A can ask her question that B, C, D, and the whole rest of the alphabet also has. Boom, that question gets answered. Now, what's the next question? So you don't have to wait until January 30th at 2 p.m. to get your question answered. You're going to get 10 questions answered in the period of 30 minutes. And then we're going to move on to how we're expanding in these sorts of things. We scaled our business exponentially from 2022 to 2023 by
Mhm.
making the terrifying leap of saying we're taking away one-to-one calls because we know they're not required. We've seen it day in and day out. You all have the same problems, you all have the same questions. Let's do this in a mastermind experience. And that catapulted our business, but not at first. The enrollment in January of 2023 was significantly lower than in January 2022, but
Yeah.
then we made 2023 year an open enrollment year where we said
Mhm.
you can join us all year round. So it took a little bit of time, but people started to catch on and we had people join in February and March and April and May and June and so on. And by the time we wrapped up 2023, we had a huge cohort of people or a huge mastermind of people who were all there excited about a mastermind experience with no expectation or desire around one-to-one coaching because they were seeing the value of showing up to these group coaching calls. And so then we got to free up our time and
Mhm.
create incredible experiences. We started hosting our accelerator calls where we would host these 8-hour days with our clients, 2 4-hour days back to back. And we were just delivering incredible value packed content that we didn't have the time or capacity to be able to create prior to that year because we were so in it with client delivery. So, this is just a reminder that let your hardships be your lessons and take the risk. If you're thinking, I want to move out of one-to-one, I want to free up my time and scale to 6 figures online and do all of these sorts of things, we'll take our quiz, mylandpurpose.com/quiz, and that will start to show you ways that you can do that. But you also have to take the risk. And us taking that risk, and there were people who were like, but I want one-to-one coaching. Okay, then you're going to find it from somebody else. It's not going to be from us. And that was the quantum leap for our business, but also our time. And then, Kayla, do you want to talk about how us removing one to one and freeing up our time was such a expansion for our clients because then what started happening for all of our clients?
We removed one to one, and then our clients started talking to each other more, relying on each other to collaborate and build businesses together and support each other in each other's businesses and really get to know each other because it wasn't just coming to us, getting coached. We didn't only give answers, we did lots of powerful coaching, but people are getting powerfully coached live on group calls and still do. And then other people in the group see what they're getting coached on and how they can support them and then can jump in and help them move their business forward. So, by sharing all of the celebrations and all of the hardships and all of the challenges and things that are happening in your business with 40 other people, 50 other people, you get the support of those people as well. So, it was the best thing we've ever done. And then, not to mention, everyone saw the value of being together in community and how we facilitate in community and saw how they could play that out in their own business and take their own time back. So it was an exponential quantum leap move. And we'll talk more about this in Freedom Week. So you can sign up on the website. We want everybody in there starting February 3rd. And it's going to be an hour a day. And we're going to really talk about the nitty gritty of how to organize your lifestyle and your business and your vacations and everything you want to realize in this life because you can. Now, the thing that is the biggest game changer for me as the Virgo person who loves a spreadsheet and loves to see the rules laid out on paper is in July of 2022, we decided what our 2023 calendar would look like. In July of 23, we decided our 24 calendar. And then this year in July of 24, we decided our 2025 calendar. We look at what's working for the group, what we could shift, what could be even better, how we want to spend our time. And then we brainstorm that about Aligned CEO. And then we overlay how we want to live our lives, speaking of lifestyle. So for us, we decided to start calls at 11 a.m. this year inside of Aligned CEO. That means people from all over the world can join because that's a good time for people from New Zealand. It's also an okay time for people from Europe. So that's accessible. And then all of North America, that works. Especially people who are entrepreneurs in control of their own time and can show up to calls during the day. And that's who we work with. So we know 11 a.m. works. But what it does for us and what it's unlocked is we are confident that throughout 2024, we have until 11 a.m. every day to do our morning routines, to meditate, to work out, like I was saying at the beginning of what I'm grateful for, to do what we need to do to get centered in aligned CEO mode and show up and then go for it for the remainder of the day from 11 for the call on the days that we have calls and for 10:30, 11 on the days that we don't. And take Fridays where we can regroup and not feel like our nervous system is maxed out because we've packed our calendar with a million things. We have all these big goals. We are writing a book. We have big events happening. We're traveling a lot this year. We're participating in incredible masterminds ourselves. And we want to be fully present and available and take full advantage of all of the networking. And you just cannot do that if you're exhausted. It's
Mm-mm.
impossible. You can't.
Yeah.
So we're setting ourselves up to be able to be rested, to be worked out, to have our goals and our lifestyle and our needs met, and then to pour into our businesses.
Mhm. And to wrap this conversation up, because we're going to be talking about this so much more in the coming weeks on the podcast and again in Freedom Week. But to wrap this particular conversation up, there is something really powerful to be said for looking at people who are living a lifestyle that is something that you desire. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to be traveling and I want to be networking and I want to be planning vacations and I want to be going to the gym in the morning and I want to be sleeping in and so on and so forth, let us be your expanders in that. The way that we got here is from seeing other coaches and mentors that we've worked with paint the vision of what's possible. And then we work with them so that we can make that happen. And so if you're listening to us and a desire is to live a lifestyle similar to this and you want to make that happen in 2025, then let's get you inside of the Line CEO method because this is the energy that we bring to everybody. We are making sure that our aligned CEOs are building businesses that allow them to live the lives that they want to live. And it's something as little as this morning, I got up and I was going about my morning, and then I checked the calendar and I saw that Kayla had I saw that you had your workout scheduled in. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go to the gym right now because I see that you have that. So come inside of Align CEO Method so that you can see not only what we're doing, but what all these other powerful people are doing inside of our program to change their lives so that they are living a true freedom lifestyle and not based off of what your friends or family members are doing from their closed in, entrapped lifestyle from being an employee to somebody else or being trapped in their own business. Let us show you the ways that it is possible to live a life that feels really exciting because I am so fucking lit up for 2025 and what we have coming up and what we are living right now today. Like you said, that you started this call, we slept in, we went to the gym, we got our coffees, we're hanging out, we're recording podcasts, and this is exactly the life I've wanted to live.
Yeah, me too. I feel totally aligned.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. A reminder that you can join us in Freedom Week starting February 3rd. The link will be at the very top of the show notes. And make sure that you get signed up. If you can't make it for the whole call or you can't make it for one of the calls, soon as you're signed up, you'll be on the list to catch the replays as well and any additional resources or materials that go along with those days. But if you don't sign up, you will not get the replay, you will not get the resources. So just get yourself signed up. We can't wait to see you there. Obviously, we're going to do fun giveaways. That's just how we roll. And stay tuned for more conversations around how powerful owning your time is.
Find out the fastest way to grow your business without sacrificing more time or adding more one-on-one clients now. Go to myalignedpurpose.com/quiz and get your result.